Ready to hit the road to smarter car ownership? In this video, we are diving into the age-old debate. Should you lease or finance your next vehicle? Well, buckle up, because by the end of this video, you will have all the insights you need to make the right choices for your wallet as well as for the wheels. All right, so choosing how to acquire your dream car can be very challenging and a very thrilling experience. Before you're gonna make this decision, let's break down the differences between leasing and financing the vehicle. Let's first talk about what is leasing and what is financing. Leasing the vehicle, it allows you to get a brand new car without paying too much for it. So if you're one of those who love to switch the vehicles and love to drive fancy cars and not to worry about it, leasing is the great option. Leasing, it's like renting a vehicle for a set period of time. So typically it's between 3 to 4 years. So the way it works is that you pay monthly installment payments based on the residual value of the vehicle. It also depends on the rate that is out there today, as well as the type of vehicle that you would like to lease, as well as the period that you would like to take it for, and the mileage that you're taking. Okay, now let's talk about financing. On the flip side, financing, it's owning the vehicle from day one. It doesn't matter if it's a brand new vehicle or it's a used vehicle, you have the rights to the vehicle, and you have a choice to buy it right away or you finance it through the bank. So typically, when you get the financing, you take it between 3 to 5 years, you make these monthly installment payments, and by the end of the period, you own the whole vehicle. Now that we know the difference between the leasing and financing, now let's dive into the numbers, as well as the advantages and the disadvantages for the leasing the vehicle or for financing the vehicle. So let's start with the leasing. When you lease the vehicle, the advantage is typically it's a brand new car. Also, it allows you to drive the vehicle and pay the lower payments versus if you would own the vehicle, and at the same time cost of the maintenance is much lower. So like these are all the advantages of leasing the vehicle. At the same time, if you're one of those people who love to switch the vehicles very often, this would be a great option for you. You don't have to worry about it. You know, you can just get the lease for 3 years and then just give the car away and then just move to the new vehicle, whatever the brand new vehicle came out on the market. So these are one of the great options. Also, let's talk a little bit about the tax advantages. So when you lease the vehicle, there's tax advantages in terms of that you can deduct it and then you can get tax deductions from that. So that's one of the great ways as well. So typically, the lease payments depend on the type of the vehicle that you choose. So obviously, the more expensive vehicle, the higher the lease payments is going to be. Also, the payments depend on the residual value. Again, that would depend on the brand of the car, as well as whatever's the finance rate right now. Well, today the finance rate are very high, so therefore the lease payments are very high as well. Also, the lease payment will affect on how much money you're putting down at the signing. So be careful of this one, because a lot of the dealerships out there, they put all this fancy advertising of like how much you're gonna be paying every month, and then typically you pay attention to these monthly payments, but then someday on the bottom there's like all these down payments and all the things extra that you have to pay. So make sure that you pay attention to all of that as well, because this is something that you're going to be paying, and this is something that is going to come out of your pocket. So in addition to these monthly payments, you might be paying this extra money for the down payment and for all the other builds in. So be careful of that. Also, the cost of the monthly payment depends on the mileage as well. Typically, the lower the monthly payment, the less miles you have for the use. So if you want to take more mileage, then the payment will be much higher. So some of the other disadvantages besides the mileage that I just mentioned is the wear and tear. So typically, whenever you lease this vehicle, you're responsible to give it back in the same perfect condition. And I'm sharing this with you because through my own life experiences, I purchased the vehicle, financed the vehicle, leased the vehicles, purchased it. So I went through all of this. And I remember one of the times when I leased the vehicle, it happened during the COVID, my vehicle got stolen. So basically what happened is that they found the vehicle and it was damaged. I mean, it wasn't damaged that badly outside, it was only damaged inside. What happened is that the guys that stole the vehicle, they broke the computer inside of the car, and like I didn't care much about it, but since this was a leased vehicle, then I was responsible to fix it. So basically I had to pay for the storage of the vehicle, to fix the vehicle, and then at the same time when I gave the surrender the vehicle, I had to pay for the wear and tear as well. So these are some of the extra costs associated with leasing the vehicle. So when you're making this financial decision whether you want to lease or finance the vehicle, so these are just some of the things to consider and to pay attention to. Now let's move to the financing. So whenever you're financing the vehicle, the great thing is that you own the vehicle. However, what's important to keep in mind is that the moment that you buy the vehicle, when it's a brand new vehicle, the moment that you drive this vehicle out of the dealership, it typically loses between 25 to 35% in residual value. So these are some of the disadvantages to keep in mind. On the flip side, if you don't mind to stick to the vehicle for another 5, 6, 7 years, that might be the great option because you own the vehicle, and then after the finance term you can sell it, you can trade off, and there still be some value. So that would be some of the advantages. Also, you don't have to worry about the mileage. It doesn't matter how much mileage you're gonna put on the vehicle, especially to those that love to travel or go on the road trips. That would be one of the great advantages. As far as the tax deductions, it's gonna work exactly the same way as with the lease. Whatever monthly payments you're paying, you can still deduct them. But you can deduct, so talking about tax deductions, the tax deductions is for those that own businesses, business owners, investors. So they typically use the vehicle deductions for the lease or for the finance. It's fully deductible. Another advantage for when you're financing the vehicle, when you own the vehicle, is that you can customize the vehicle the way you want it. For those that love to change the wheels, modify some stuff, upgrade some stuff in the car, so that would be the great advantage to take of that, because you can do whatever you want with this car as it's completely your own vehicle. And you don't have to worry about if there's some kind of damage in the vehicle. If it's you're okay with that, then you don't have to worry about it fixing, because again, you have the full rights to the vehicle. These are some of the advantages of financing the vehicle. So whenever you finance the vehicle, the monthly payment will depend on the cost of the vehicle. It will depend on whatever the interest rate on the market right now, whatever the finance term that you're selecting to take. So obviously, the longer the term, the less amount that you will be paying every month. And another thing to consider right now between the lease and finance, as today the interest rates are very high. It's as high as 8-9%. So therefore the payments are very high for lease of the finance. I remember for my daughter, when I leased the vehicle, it was before COVID. It was Nissan Rogue. We were only paying for $235. So obviously $235 for that type of car to lease it, that was a steal. And then 3 years later, that was already after the COVID, what happened is that since the interest rate were very high, then the payments went up as well. So instead of paying $235 for the same vehicle, the lease came out to over $500. I made a financial decision when I did all the calculations that it just makes sense for me to buy this car out and just to, I didn't even finance it, just to to buy this out and have the ownership of the vehicle versus actually leasing the same vehicle. Yes, it's a brand new vehicle, but you're paying twice as much. So you see, there is no one size fits all. So it all depends on your financial situation. It depends what is the rate on the market. Obviously, it depends on the cost of the vehicles. And knowing all this information that I just shared with you, I hope that you find it very helpful, and then you will be able to make educated financial decision. It's whether you want to lease your next vehicle or finance it. So lastly, another thing that I wanted to point out to your attention. This is the very common question that I ask. So typically, whenever you choose whether you want to lease the vehicle or finance, some thinking that whenever you're leasing the vehicle that you don't have to pay the taxes. So here's the bad news, guys, for you. Unfortunately, you do. Unfortunately, we have to pay taxes on absolutely everything. So it's whether you lease the vehicle, you finance the vehicle, where you buy, you sell, we pay tax absolutely on everything. So the way it works with the financing, it's very easy. You pay the sales tax, you pay the tax on the vehicle, on the whole cost of the vehicle. Whenever you lease the vehicle, you pay the tax on the lease payment of the vehicle. So let's say if you're leasing the vehicle for $500 a month for the next 36 months, it comes out to $18,000 a year. So on this whole $18,000, you're going to be paying the taxes. So I hope you find this very helpful. Remember, there is no one size fits all. Whether you choose the flexibility of leasing or ownership of financing, the key is aligning your choice with your lifestyle and financial goals. Remember, the journey to car ownership is as exciting as this destination itself. Thanks for riding along with us today. Got questions or insights to share? Drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more expert tips on navigating the road to smart car ownership. Until next time, drive safe and stay savvy. And remember, it's all in your hands.